Rex Omar has urged Ghanaians to prioritize speaking their local languages at home to preserve their heritage. In a Facebook post, he wrote, "Speak your local language to your children at home instead of English. Speak your local language to your children at home instead of English. The surest way to preserve it. This advice goes for all my dear citizens of Ghana." And this ties into that controversy language. Ghanaians are saying that their language is dying because of the fact that Accra is cosmopolitan, the capital city, and there are so many cultures taking over. And even just this morning, I saw a story quoting Gamache saying that schools in Accra or on Galand should teach Ga as local language and not any other local language. So, very important. RL1 local languages are very important in shaping who we are. This is statement coming from Rex Omar. We'll be talking to him in a moment. But before that, Ria, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
The Vim did down. Ria, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Kwame. I'm fine.
Now I'm feeling you. Okay. Welcome to the show. How was last week's experience on radio?
It was what it was.
It is what it is.
Yeah. It was what it was. Unfortunately, some people felt I'm not fit to be on radio, but
they said
yeah,
what?
some people felt I'm not fit to be on radio because of some of the comments I made about hip life, or was it hip life or hip hop or rap music. But if they want it, they can come and sit here. We move.
Great. But the thing is, so after the Rex Omar statement on the language thing, there is another thing that has happened that involves him. So, the Black Star Experience Secretariat, which he heads, they went to South Africa and they have signed a memorandum of understanding with the National Arts Council of South Africa to strengthen cultural ties and create opportunities within the creative industries of both nations. Now, the agreement was signed at the NACSA headquarters in Joburg. Rex Omar, who is the coordinator, he's not chief executive officer, the coordinator of the Black Star Experience, represented Ghana, while Julie Defofa, acting CEO of the NACSA, signed on behalf of South Africa. This partnership will focus on cultural and creative exchange programs. So you can go to SA and go do something, and then now they will come here. Heritage, preservation, arts, education, collaborations, and residencies, institutional exchanges, internships, training opportunities, as well as joint research and developmental projects. This is what they want to do in South Africa. So we'll be tying these two topics together when we get to speak to Rex Omar. Yes, okay. In the meantime, what do you make of this particular move by Black Star Experience to go to SA and have that understanding with their National Arts Council?
Okay, so I don't want to toot my own horn, but I feel like, I think, was it 2-3 years ago, Her Excellency the Ambassador from South Africa to Ghana, we were privileged to have her on this platform. I think it was with Andy Dusty. And one of the questions I asked her was the fact that, what was she doing exactly? Because I think we became privy to her during the TGMA celebrations. She was there with Her Excellency and
Sophie.
And Sophie, yes. Yes, Her Excellency and Sophie. So that's when we got to know her. She presented a few awards and stuff like that. So she came here and I asked her about what her plan was for the entertainment industry, because when you come to Ghana, we have Amapiano nights at front back. We had groups like is it Umoja or Umoja?
Umoja.
Umoja, yes. They used to come to Ghana, come to show us about the cultural heritage of South Africans or the Zulu people and all that. So I wanted to know exactly what the collaborative plan was, because we have accepted them, and I wanted to know how they were going to accept us too in their markets, because believe it or not, South Africa is a very big market.
Yeah.
So she said that it was something that they were willing to look at.
Okay.
But I think, unfortunately, I don't know if she's still the ambassador. But I think, unfortunately, we didn't see much. But now, this move is sort of a good thing, because I feel like when it comes to music and artistic performances, Ghana and South Africa, we have a lot of similarities. So if we kind of combine our expertise, it's going to be a very good beginning for our entertainment industry.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's speak to Rex Omar, who is the coordinator of Black Star Experience. He was the one that went to South Africa for this MOU. Good morning, Uncle Rex.
Good morning, Kwame. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm fine by the grace of God.
Great. We are happy to have you this morning on the show, and we're talking about the MOU that you signed with the National Arts Council of South Africa. We saw the story, and we saw you together with KOD, Abeku Santana, and other Ghanaian delegates to SA for this project. What is the inspiration for this?
Okay, thank you very much. In line with the Black Star Experience mandate, we're supposed to play the role of branding Ghana through culture, arts, and tourism, raise investment in such a way that we can create jobs, and also deal with cultural diplomacy and all that. So
Uncle Rex.
Hello.
There is some noise in the background.
Can you hear me now?
I think it's better now. Thank you.
Okay. So, in line of the Black Star Experiences mandate, we're supposed to rebrand Ghana through culture, arts, and tourism, and then raise investment, infrastructure to virtually help bring investment to create jobs. So we started this discussion with South Africa, because if you look at in terms of the creative economy ecosystem, South Africa has gone far. All the major record companies are in South Africa. If you watch South African movies, you realize that they've gone far. In terms of tourism, they are very, very far ahead of us. So we started this negotiation to have some kind of MOU that will create opportunities for both countries in terms of creativity, to create enabling environment to export our artists as they also come to our market, to export our fashion as they also come to our market, to create a bridge. So it took us over 6 to 7 months to get this thing through, and I think it's a major breakthrough, because it's not only going to help us export our cultural products, it's also going to help us build capacity. Because if you look at the things that we're going to do, there's something that we call residency. So we can send Ghanaian sound engineers, fashion people or musicians or whatever to go stay there for maybe 3-6 months, sponsored, so they can go and learn to build their capacities as they also come here and do those things. So it's a major breakthrough.
Okay. Talking about all the things that you will do, when are we starting the partnership in earnest?
We have already started, because just the day after the signing the MOU, the following day we had over 2 hours meeting at the Ghana High Commission, with the head of mission, and then South African, the chief director of the Foreign Affairs Ministry of South Africa. We sat and we discussed the immediate action plan. So they are putting it together. Already, Ghana is going to support the Ghana Fest. I think the biggest festival outside Ghana, the biggest Ghanaian festival outside Ghana on the continent. So we are actually bringing it up to a level where we believe that we will expand the content, we will rebrand it completely, and so as to be able to, every year, we can send Ghanaian products and gastronomy, whatever. We are redesigning the whole structure to make it a major Ghanaian project, so that every year Ghanaians who want to visit South Africa, families who want to visit South Africa and all that, and Ghanaian entrepreneurs, creative entrepreneurs can go and exhibit their products and whatever and make it very, very big. So that one is ongoing, and we are going to create another project in one of the provinces that is purposely gospel. No, South Africa is very heavy when it comes to gospel music. So we want a situation where we export Ghanaian gospel, merge it with South African gospel, and then include the business aspect of it in terms of Christian products and whatever to exhibition. We have already gone there. We have done our recce. We have gotten a private investor who is interested. He will provide sound and lighting and a venue and everything. So it is an ongoing. For example, we have also stated that the tidal wave that is being done in Ghana, we have brought them into the scene so that it also creates platforms for the youth. So this year we are supporting them, but next year is going to be bigger. So it is started already. We are not waiting for another day. So a special action plan is being done at the embassy in South Africa with the Foreign Affairs Directorate, including the NSC, with what we are also doing here. So very soon you will see a lot of things happening.
You spoke about tidal rave, which is held in Ghana.
Yes.
So how are the South Africans going to see this?
There's going to be South Africa. We are going to bring in South African artists and South African fashion people, any opportunity that they can get so that they can come to Ghana and participate in the Ghanaian tidal wave. And then there's going to be another tidal wave in South Africa.
Oh, okay. So they come in here to see the one we organize annually here, and then we go there to organize another one for them there.
Exactly.
Okay. What about Ghana Music Awards? I read the story. I saw their name in it as well.
So Ghana Music Award is something that we, as Black Star Experience, will go and discuss with them so that every year, if the Music Award is coming, we will organize for South African artists to come and perform.
Okay.
So as to be able to give them the Ghanaian platform to also exhibit their talent. This MOU should be a win-win situation. It should balance. We can't have only Ghanaians benefiting from South Africa while the South Africans are not benefiting from here. So we have selected some of our major platforms so as to be able to also bring South African products.
Okay, so for example, are we also going to see, let's say, the Summers host some of our artists during their awards?
Exactly. So it's a win-win situation. As we export our artists there, they will also export their artists here. It's not dwell only on music, also fashion, also movies.
What about comedy? Lexi the comic is asking, what about comedy?
Everything is involved, including exhibitions with photo exhibitions and everything that has to do with the creative economy.
Uncle Rez, how are you going to ensure that this partnership is not lopsided to one country?
It behoves on me and you. It's not one-man show. So the whole situation is we have done the groundwork, and our groundwork is also impinges on what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and then His Excellency Ramaphosa. There's already an existing MOU at the governmental level, bilateral level. So this one, ours is an agency-to-agency level. So it is something that that is the reason why I said just after the MOU signing, we had a meeting at the Ghana High Commission with the head of the mission, deputy commissioner, plus the director of South African Foreign Affairs Ministry. And they said they are not going to make this MOU a peripheral stuff. They are bringing it in the middle. So when the president meets, they will know that this and this and this and this has happened, so as to be able to give the backing to it. So it's going to be something. It's not going to be a 9-day wonder that you just go and sign an MOU and you put it under the bed. No, it's going to be a major something that will be visible, because right now there's no visa. You pick your passport and you are in South Africa. South Africans pick their passport and they are in Ghana. And we have to take advantage of this to create the market. For example, South Africans love Ghanaian fashion. But the problem is, if you are a fashion designer and you've created a product in Ghana and South Africans want it, how do you get it to the place? We need to talk about inter-country or intercontinental payment system. Okay, you can send your products to South Africa. If you don't have the money to, say, open an outlet there for now, you can send your products to South Africa. How do you get paid? So these are some of the bottlenecks that after we'll have to come in, and then it must start somewhere. That's what we have actually started.
Uncle Rex, we all know how South Africans promoted Amapiano here in Ghana. Even in December in GH, you see them organizing events here and there. Plug into our December in GH activities. Now, how intentional are you going to be in making sure the high life and other genres that we have also thrive in South Africa?
Ghana Fest. That is why we're taking over Ghana Fest, so that it will be a platform. That's why I call Ghana Festival in the heart of South Africa, Pretoria. I visited the venue, a very big venue, so it depends on how we will be intentional in designing the place and decide which artist goes there, which Ghanaian foods goes there, Ghanaian fashion, Ghanaian whatever, and we market it openly in South Africa in the mainstream, so as to be able to invite South Africans to also come and see what Ghana has to offer. So it's going to be a win-win situation.
Okay.
As they promote Amapiano in Ghana, we promote high life in South Africa.
Good one there. We used to have cultural attachés in the various countries, as in the high commissions. And now we don't have them any longer. Do you think that is going to make your work difficult in this partnership?
Yes and no. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. So we have started, and I think these things will also... I've started a conversation with it. That's why I went with KOD and then Abeku Santana. So it's a conversation we will start with our Minister of Foreign Affairs, so as to be able to see how we will deal with this situation of cultural attachés in our embassies. So I think it's a journey that we have started, and it will just grow to become bigger. South Africa is not going to be the only country we're going to have an MOU. Any country on the continent that we believe will give us that advantage to be able to put our best foot out there to be able to also bring tourists to Ghana. That is exactly what we're going to do.
Talking about culture and tourism, you wrote something on Facebook a few days ago, and you are urging Ghanaians to speak local languages to their kids at home. What motivated this?
This is imperative. Look, Kwame, when I was younger and then my children were going to school, every time they come to home and they're crying that a teacher has beaten them or so, why? Because they were speaking Twi. I had to go to the school and warn the teachers. I said, look, I brought my children for you to teach them English. So don't ask my children that when they come home they shouldn't speak Twi. They shouldn't speak Twi. What language do you want them to speak? I don't want anybody to touch any of my children just because they are speaking their local language. So they stop touching them. And that's why all my children can speak Twi fluently. There are so many houses in this country that the children are speaking English and they don't teach them the local language. So you can't just do this thing to your children and you grow up to complain that they can't speak the language and some languages are dying and all that. The best teacher, number one teacher, is you, the parent. At least teach your children your language in the house. So when they go to school, they can go and speak the English. So it is something, it's number one way of preserving our languages. Because you see, some languages are gradually dying. I heard that they're saying that, for example, the Ga language, they are not getting Ga teachers. How would you get Ga teachers if you don't speak Ga in the house? So the teacher must understand Ga first and foremost before he can teach. But if you are speaking English and other languages with your children in the house, how do you expect them to speak the language? So every language is important. That is what makes us unique. So speak your language with pride to your children in the house. Let them go to the school to learn the English there. That is why we are paying the school fees.
Uncle Rex.
Yes.
And I'll pay you better as a So that's Rex Umar there talking to us about the partnership between South Africa and Ghana when it comes to tourism, art and culture, and then roping that into the post that he made about speaking local languages to our kids at home. So we are going to tie this. Yeah. Ria, you started. Yes. Okay, so continue.
So I'm glad that he spoke about the MOU, about the fact that they are benefiting from us. We also have to benefit from them, because I feel like even with TGMA, I remember there were times where a lot of South African artists have come to perform at, I think was Double HP. Yes. Yeah. Ohima Mercy has brought Footprint and Ohima Mercy. They've brought a lot of South African gospel artists for the Tahila experience, and I think the Footprints concerts that they've been having. Also, may God rest his soul, Costa Titch was in Ghana to perform and all that. So I feel like we've given a lot of opportunity to South African artists. So it's time for South Africa to also reciprocate. I know there are a lot of Ghanaian artists too that go there for business purposes. I think I see D Black do a lot of, business when it comes to his music, promotions in South Africa, and also works with a few South African artists. So I think it's also a good thing. But coming to speaking of the local language at home, unfortunately, I come from that era where we were beaten or even scolded in school. There was a no vernacular rule in school.
Okay.
Yes, and it was a big deal, I think, in my school. Yes, so it's a bit dicey because there are some parents too that want different for their children.
They want what?
Different for their children in the terms of, I don't really care if my kids don't speak the local language. I want to train my kids to speak French, Mandarin,
some
Spanish.
are not even learning Chinese.
Exactly.
Mandarin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a divide, but I feel like when you go to the West, there are so many countries that take pride in their language. All right. They teach in their language. There are so many things that they do with their language, and they take pride in it. Especially even the Mandarin that I'm talking about. Like when you go to other countries, I remember I've been to a country where I try to speak English. The person understands me perfectly well, but will never speak to me in English. You understand? They don't care to speak to you in English. Okay, so I feel like, hey, if you want to show, and unfortunately, let me just put this. Unfortunately, too, we have different tribes in Ghana, and people come from different backgrounds, so it's hard for us to even communicate. I have a friend who's Northerner, all right. If she starts to speak Dagbani, right, with me, unfortunately, it will be hard for me to understand. So I think English, or sometimes, I know this is going to be very controversial, but sometimes Chi is what brings us together, because unfortunately or fortunately, it has become like the unofficial national language. You understand me? And in addition to English and Pidgin English, you understand. So it's a bit, sometimes this whole agenda can get a bit confusing. If you get where I'm coming from.
But acquiring a second language. So the thing is that the L1 is very important. Your first language.
Ghanaian language.
That lays the foundation for you to learn the second language. Psychologically, it's puts the child in that cultural space so that the child fits into the cultural space.
On
Linguistically, it helps the child to acquire the vocabularies well. So if you start straight to English, you are worrying the child.
You see, that's what I'm talking about, because I grew up in if it wasn't for my grandmother, okay, I would have been a complete useless person when it comes to my language. Because the school thing comes into play.
Yeah.
I went to a school where even in kindergarten, the parents will rally the teachers will rally the parents or the teachers association, parent teachers association meetings. They'll tell you that when you go home, speak English with your child so that the child will be fluent.
Wow.
You get it? So now this is kindergarten. These are the formative years of the child.
And these days, the children go to school very early.
Formative years, and then all the educational shows are in English. So I know my nephews watch Miss Nancy because we are trying to wean them of other, cognitive damaging content.
Yeah.
So from research, we get to find out that Miss Nancy is what is helping kids, cognitively. All right. So we decided that we are going to make them watch Miss Nancy, and it is in English. We don't have content like that for the kids in Chi. You get it? So that's why I'm like, it's a bit dicey.
Wow. Thank you, Ria Anakwa. Adam Mensa Choteme. Please, we are combining the two topics, the partnership by Black Star Experience and South Africa's National Arts Council for the creative industry, and then speaking our local languages to our kids. Piao, Mwanunko.
Yeah, Kwame. I think it's important for such partnership because we have different partnerships with South Africa when it comes to trade and investment, among others. And I think culturally there has been some level of diplomatic relationship, and it is very important that we become intentional about it so that we can maximize the benefit which is in this. I mean, if you look at our creatives over the years, we've seen South Africa tourism move a couple of them there, then media people among others. So we need that level of intentionality to be able to fully maximize the benefit. I mean, if you listen to Mr. Agri, affectionately known as Abeku Santana, when he was speaking at the ceremony in South Africa, he talked about the role of GTA in this, and he was talking about facilitation and funding, which is very important. And if you look at the National Art Council of South Africa, I mean, the National Art Council of South Africa, which was established in 1997, is the biggest, funding body when it comes to their creative art or their arts and culture. So having that relationship with a body which is the biggest funding agency in the creative space, for me is crucial, because you can find ways. The partnership is there. You need to create the product to be able to assess the benefits of the MOU. And like he said, you push to him that we need to be intentional. We need to create sellable products which we can easily penetrate their market, and those products should be distinct enough so that we can have a lot of benefits from some of these partnerships, so that they do not become so creative that they create more, compelling products into our markets where we are not able to reciprocate. It will be a cause to worry. So, we need to, put our best foot forward in terms of, the cultural products we will put together. And like you said, the comedy, you were asking of the comedy.
Lexi raised that.
Lexi was raising that. At times, some of these things, you don't need to even sit there and wait for the top hierarchy to think for you. They can also create a product or share a suggestion with them. Go and see the secretariat with the product that I think we can do this and this with South Africa in terms of comedy.
Some of the comedians are doing this on their own.
Exactly.
Lexi is bringing in South African comedians to his show.
Yeah, so there's an opportunity. It's not we don't. Sometimes we need to push. We need to push those at the top hierarchy. So, they've started very well. There's an opportunity for them. They need to go and see the Black Star experience and let them know that we have been doing this. What else can you do to further enhance, whatever we are doing for growth? So I think other sectors in the creative space should take advantage and not wait for the BSC to create a model for them. They can approach them with proposals and convince them, and I'm sure they can have a way. And when it comes to, the language issue, for me, it's important for the child to understand their language. Some of us
local language.
Yeah, it's very important.
Can you speak ever?
That's what I'm saying. Some of us are suffering. From that, you go to your hometown and it becomes like a barrier. You are like a foreigner. You don't understand what is happening. There a lot of importance you derive from understanding your local language, and at times we do not pay too much attention to that. But it's really crucial. So parents should be, in the forefront. They should lead the effort to ensure that their children are able to speak their local language, so to preserve their culture. Not only that, but also, further in future, help the child. Yeah.
Thank you, Eddie Mensa Chotome, Mr. Rob.
Kwame.
Kwame. Would you want to speak in your local dialect?
I think the platform in itself is not for...
You say?
It's for expression in the lingo that basically people can understand.
Yes, I get you, yeah.
So two very interesting areas, and I think that, first of all, let me say congratulations to Rex and his team. I love the fact that we are moving out. You can't play in this space with the armchair orientation, expecting things to happen to you. Because for as long as you stay in a particular mindset, you will have a lot of importation of culture from other areas. And we've experienced that, on several fronts. A lot of people keep coming here and, they've had great runs in terms of even the Amapiano, Charlie. It just happened all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Some wildfire and bam, it was almost everywhere and stuff like that. So I like the fact that we are also going out and we are choosing specific markets to play in the game with. From my understanding of publishing, have understood that strategically, even if musicians want to do music with people within the other spaces, they should focus on music economies where publishing is already sorted out. Imagine if you are a producer and you work with an artist in South Africa, and so heavy promotion goes on in South Africa. They have the Samro, Sampra, Capasso. They'll collect all the royalties for you, so you will make your money. You understand what I'm saying? So these are strategic areas, and I'm quite happy that they are looking to nurture that relationship and then have it go, especially because they've already done what is required, ability to move into South Africa effortlessly, so no visa requirements. So I like what they're doing, and yes, I think that they should continue. I have had quite a number of meetings in terms of what's the name of this summits. I've also had conversations with some gospel artists in that space who have expressed interest in some of these relationships and all of that. So whatever they are doing, I just think that it should continue and we should see more of these things happening. My only caution is that anytime they speak about these things, we hear music in the lead. And even though you can say that, they say all other elements of the arts, it is usually in the minority in terms of the
execution.
Speech, the speech or execution. It's always music taking the lead. Music taking the lead. And I just want us to be very cautious about that, because there's been situations where people even sit down to draft policies and stuff like that, and it disenfranchise some of the elements of the arts. So when Lexi is asking about comment, sometimes we want to hear it mentioned, so that we know that the people who are leading are not just discussing it from one perspective, and the others are like, and this one still will happen. No. Sometimes we want to hear what is really happening in the other spheres, because it's not just music when it comes to the arts. There are different aspects, and we want to be able to hear that from the perspective of national cake sharing. And I think the cultural attaches conversation is very important. We need to be able to open it up, because imagine if we can do this across all the foreign the embassies across the country, across the various parts of the world. That would take us to higher heights. So that's it. With respect to language, it's one of the biggest challenges that we have. I think 4 years ago, one of the people I respect so much, big man, spoke to me about the fact that their kids are not speaking local language, and then they are putting an effort to be able to get them to learn Ghanaian language. But they were older, already, like they had already gone past 15 years, and they were putting in the effort to achieve that. I remember that when I was growing up, I had to go to, one of the key reasons why I went to Kita Secondary School was because I wanted an immersion in the Ewe language. Because when I was growing up, I spoke more of Ga. I spoke more Ga than Ewe. And so I needed that immersion. And so I wanted to go to Kita Secondary School, because one was one of the key reasons why I wanted to be in a particular space. And when I was learning about kids and how they how they learn language, there was an interesting phrase I found. It says that kids don't learn language, they acquire language. Which means they acquire language from immersion. And so it's what you immerse them in, like an area they find themselves in, the constant conversation, etc. That is what makes them learn what they are supposed to learn, because you realize that they pick up stuff. And I think that it's an ability that God has given to kids to be able to pick up easily. However, this same thing is not easy with adults. You realize that you can hang around people who are speaking a particular language and you will not be able to speak it. But if it's a kid, for some reason they are able to pick it up real quickly. So I think that we should not look at kids as kids and fail to appreciate the gifts they have been given as younger folks. But we should understand them from that particular perspective. And indeed, like Rex is saying, we should have parents speaking to them, because I think really this particular call is very heavy. We need to understand that education is supposed to be 360. The school plays role and the home must play its role. And we cannot relegate the role of the parents and the community to the schools. Even though the schools will play their role, we need to also call it out that at the end of the day, we are also responsible for heritage, the pass on of heritage, so to say. At this point, I also want to almost immediately call out a few things with respect to language. So I was thinking the last time, what's the tree name for like hard disk?
Hard disk.
Yes. What is the GAN name for BIOS?
Atoms.
You understand what I'm saying? Our language, see, the world is evolving, is growing. Our language, the vocabulary is not growing. Because you can imagine that some people actually sat down and said akasanoma, even though we didn't create radio.
We were able to,
yes, and usually it's descriptive, akasanoma, and it became the name for radio. So all I'm saying is, at what point did we stop
growing the language?
And who is responsible? Because when you ask about the responsibility, we have the House of Chiefs. We also have the chieftaincy systems that exist with various traditional rulers in place. I don't know what the plan is, but how are we right now? We should be able to have what is microphone in? I don't know what's it called.
Akasemu.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
So, but Are there other languages that have found the right vocabulary to be able to capture what it is?
Possibly.
You understand? So we need to get to that point where people are, because the dictionary is updated.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is English.
There are new words being added.
Exactly. So people are responsible for updating the English language, and that's why the English language keeps growing. What are we doing from the perspective of language? And so this brings me to the role of the Commission on Culture. They were put in place to promote or to execute the culture policy. Yes. And one of the tenets in there is about the promotion of culture.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and languages is there.
And
it's
the Bureau of Ghana Languages.
They are all there. So we need to call all of these guys and understand what they are doing and what role they are playing in the space. I'm not saying we should not talk about our parents and the fact that the parents are supposed to do what they're supposed to do. But we need to feel like the language is also growing. So that when we say, oh, what is the meaning of, are we saying at this, so what are the dictionaries? You understand? What is the meaning of this word? People should be able to look it up and say headphones means, if you are looking for headphones, the Ghana word for headphones, it means this. You understand? If it wasn't for welcome being changed to
Obake.
No,
It's not even direct.
It's not Obake. I think it's Obake. It's Obake.
Obake.
People have never heard this
direct?
particular.
Is it direct?
People have never really heard this particular line before or this particular word before.
Yeah, but
You
now
understand?
we've heard it.
Exactly. So all I'm saying is that there are so many things that we haven't found local expressions for, and we also need to talk to our traditional rulers or the system or whoever is responsible to help build the vocabulary for us to express ourselves in modern day times. Because if the expression is everything about the past, like, okay, if you're looking for coal pots, you have the name, you're looking, but you can't express yourself in modern in the present, then it means that even though you want to speak your local language, it will be full of English. Because when you are here discussing,
And of course, yeah.
anything you are discussing modern day, if they don't have the words for it,
Even now, you're listening to a local language speaking radio station. They are maybe giving the news, and then you hear all these English words throughout. So now what they do is transliteration, rather. So they just pronounce the English word in their
descriptive way.
Yes, to suit the account or the Ga or every language. So that's what's happening.
Yeah.
now.
So
Which has that.
So I think that we need to get to that point where we are, very conscious about these things, and then use and build from ground up and make it easier. Because once you have it, it's easier. If you're asking people to come and teach Ghana, and then imagine a Ghana teacher is in a room and there's a child that says, "Teacher, what is computer in Ghana?" You understand what I'm saying? Like, what's a Ghana teacher?
It is computer. Computer is computer.
I think we need to get to that
We
point
should
where
also-
we tackle this thing from all corners.
Okay.
essentially.
We should also know that we get words also from colloquialism.
Yeah, happens.
You get it.
Yeah.
So the fact that it is a word and it has a language of origin.
Yeah.
It might mean something in your language,
Yeah.
but then sometimes it's a bit off to change it into your language.
That's also exists. Yesterday I mentioned the Usofu example. Gansi Usofu. The etymology is Akan Osofu.
Osofu,
So
yes.
sometimes it happens like that. But I agree with Robert.
Yeah,
we need to
no,
get
100%.
vocabulary for these words.
need a dictionary.
Okay. Thank you very much, Robert Clark. Do you want to say hi to anybody out there?
No.
Thank you, Ria, and thank you,
No, the
Eden
person
Mansa.
why would you
Hi.
ask?
He's
Eden.
gone. He's
Why
gone.
won't you ask me if I want to say hi to anybody?
Okay.
I want to say hi to all the dancers. We are dancing this month.
Yo.
Ghana Dance Festival is starting this month. 18th, we are kicking off with the Afro Latin Festival. So
Yeah.
obviously, yes. Yep. Everybody get ready. More
Thank
information
you.
on the Ghana Dance Festival
Sure,
pages.
sure.